Here's what most people won't tell you. You can't build a life of success running on motivation alone, and this story might just change everything for you. We've all been there, right? You watch an inspiring video, you feel like you can conquer the world, you make all these promises to yourself, and then nothing. A week later, you're back to square one, wondering why other people seem to have it figured out while you're stuck in the same place. The uncomfortable truth? Motivation is a liar. It shows up when you don't need it and disappears exactly when you do. But what if I told you there's something far more powerful? Something that separates people who dream from people who actually achieve. It's not about having more willpower or being special. It's about understanding one simple principle that'll transform everything. Stick around, because by the end of this story, you'll never look at success the same way again.
James always had big dreams, the kind that make your heart race just thinking about them. Every Sunday night, he'd stumble upon some motivational video that'd fire him up like crazy. He'd grab his notebook, write down goals, and promise himself that Monday would be different. But here's the thing. By Wednesday, that fire was gone, replaced by the same old routine of scrolling through his phone and wondering why success felt so far away. He wasn't lazy, not at all. He was just stuck in this endless cycle of excitement followed by disappointment, like a yo-yo that never quite made it back up. The truth he didn't see yet was that motivation's like a sugar rush. It gives you energy fast, but it burns out even faster, leaving you right back where you started.
Then one day, James noticed something about his childhood friend, Ryan. While James was bouncing between bursts of enthusiasm and reeks of doing nothing, Ryan was showing up every single day. Hitting the gym at 6 a.m., working on his side business during lunch breaks, reading for 30 minutes before bed. It wasn't flashy or exciting, and Ryan never posted about it on social media. But the results? They were undeniable. Ryan had built a successful online business, was in the best shape of his life, and seemed genuinely happy. Not because he felt motivated all the time, but because he'd mastered something James hadn't even considered: consistency. James couldn't help but wonder what made Ryan different, and that curiosity was about to lead him somewhere he'd never expected.
One afternoon, James finally asked Ryan what his secret was, and Ryan smiled like he'd been waiting for that question. "There's someone you need to meet," Ryan said, and the next morning, they drove to a quiet river where an old fisherman named Thomas spent his days. Thomas wasn't some internet guru or best-selling author. He was just a man who'd spent 40 years catching fish, rain or shine, cold or heat, good mood or bad. "You see this river?" Thomas said, casting his line with practiced ease. "It doesn't matter if I feel like fishing today or not. If I don't show up, my family doesn't eat. Motivation? That's for tourists who fish once a year and post pictures. Discipline? That's for people who need to feed their kids."
Thomas sat down beside James and pulled out a small picture from his wallet. It showed a massive bamboo forest in China. "You know what's fascinating about bamboo?" he asked, his weathered hands tracing the image. "A farmer plants bamboo seeds and waters them every single day for 5 years. 5 years, kid, and sees nothing, not even a tiny sprout breaking through the soil. Most people would have given up by year 2, thinking they're wasting their time." He paused, letting that sink in. "But in the 6th year, that bamboo shoots up 90 feet in just 6 weeks. 90 feet! The thing is, all those years of invisible growth were happening underground, building roots so strong and deep that when the time came, nothing could stop it." James stared at the photo, realizing he'd been expecting his life to change overnight. But personal growth and real success don't work that way. They're built in the quiet, unglamorous moments when nobody's watching and you've got nothing to show for your hard work yet. That conversation hit James like a ton of bricks. He'd been chasing shortcuts his whole life, looking for that one video, that one book, that one secret that'd magically fix everything. But Thomas and Ryan had shown him something different. The key to success wasn't found in moments of inspiration. It was hidden in the boring, repetitive daily habits that nobody celebrates. So James made a decision that changed everything. He stopped waiting to feel ready and started showing up regardless of how he felt. He built a morning routine and stuck to it even on days when his bed felt like paradise. He worked on his goals for 1 hour every single day, no excuses, no negotiations with himself. And you know what? Some days were terrible, some weeks felt pointless, but he kept going because he finally understood that determination isn't about never struggling. It's about refusing to quit when the struggle shows up.
3 years later, James looked back and barely recognized the person he used to be. His side business had grown into his main income. He'd written and published that book he'd been talking about forever. And most importantly, he'd developed an unshakable confidence that came from keeping promises to himself. People started asking him the same question he'd once asked Ryan. "How'd you do it?" And his answer was always simple. It wasn't one big moment or some life-changing epiphany. It was showing up on the days when he didn't want to, when it was raining outside and his motivation was nowhere to be found. He'd learned that self-improvement isn't a destination you arrive at after watching enough inspiring stories. It's a daily practice, a commitment you make to yourself over and over again. And just like that bamboo Thomas had told him about, all those invisible days of work had created roots so deep that now nothing could knock him down.
So here's the real question. Are you going to be like James before he met Thomas, bouncing from one motivation high to the next? Or are you ready to become someone who actually follows through? Think about it. What's one thing you've been putting off because you're waiting to feel ready? What goal have you abandoned because the excitement wore off? Here's your wake-up call. That perfect moment you're waiting for, it doesn't exist. Success isn't built on feelings. It's built on showing up when it's hard, when it's boring, when nobody's cheering you on. You've got the knowledge now, the same life lessons that transformed James' entire existence. So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to let this be just another video you watched and forgot? Or are you finally ready to commit to your daily habits and watch your life change? If this story hit you the way it should have, do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell because we're just getting started with content that'll keep pushing you toward the personal growth you've been craving. Let's build that bamboo forest together, one day at a time.